Welcome to the St. Paul Community Baptist Church virtual experience. We are commemorating the Maafa. This is our 26th year of sharing our sacred memory with the entire world. My name is David K. Brawley. I'm the 7th pastor of this great and robust congregation. I am so delighted to ask you to join us on this journey as we share our story. We call it Maafa. Maafa is a Kiswahili word. It means great calamity, suffering, and we use this word, which was given to us by Dr. Marimba Ani, to describe our Black Holocaust and all the residuals of slavery. I'm here now in the sanctuary of the St. Paul Community Baptist Church, and for 25 years, we would present our sacred story to the entire world. People would come from all over in order to witness our telling and retelling of our story. The pews would be filled, and upon this stage, members of our congregation would share sacred memory. What a blessing it has been, and what a journey. But today, because of COVID-19 restrictions, we had to do something different. I want to celebrate the resilience and the creativity of our congregation. And so today, for the first time, we present Maafa, the movie. What you're getting ready to experience is based on history. Though some of the characters will be fictional, it is our hope and our desire that you will see the methodologies used and all of the strategies that have brought us to this point in history. Truly, the way out is back through. And now, Maafa, the movie, a healing journey.
Hello? Hello? Hold on a second. Let me move over here so I can hear you. No, we'll be leaving here in a few minutes. We just finished eating breakfast. No, he still isn't eating that much. He says he's not hungry, and then he asks us, when are you coming back home? Yes, I know. One day he will understand, but right now, he surely misses you. Burden? What burden? Honey, that's Grandma's baby. He's home. You're at work taking care of all those sick people. Now don't you worry yourself none about this here child. He is home. No, we will go to the park like we always did before this COVID stuff hit. I will be all right. God's got me. You just make sure you stay strong and come on back home to us, okay? We'll talk to you later. Okay. Love you too. Isaiah, come on, son. Grab your bag and let's go. Remember not to touch anything or anybody. We're still not out of the woods just yet.
Okay, Grandma.
For the time is fast approaching when the first should be last and the last should be first, and on the appearance of the signs, that it will be made known to me when I should commence the great work. And on the appearance of the signs, that I should arise and prepare myself.
The fact that he had his hands in his pockets should let you know. He didn't give a damn about the life he had in his hands, or better yet, under his knee. 8 minutes and 46 seconds slowly went by as he sat on that man's neck with no regard for his life. And now brother George Floyd is dead. Another black father without a son, another black mother without a son.
That breaks my heart to see a child growing up without her father.
And do you think they care about how many times we have to rest our heads down to sleep, having to deal with the fact that another life was taken? It just makes you wonder if they care about it at all.
Look, as soon as I saw the video, I just knew there would be an immediate call to arrest these officers for murder, right?
Right.
But as we can see, that wasn't the case to put these officers away automatically.
But this ain't new, and we keep going through this. How many calls do we have to make? How many more funerals do we need to attend before we see some real change?
Okay, I for one am tired of talking, and I'm only interested in the conversations and actions that we put in place to turn this thing around. So let's start figuring out how to do just that.
Right.
All right.
Grammy, who is George Floyd?
Why do you ask?
I heard some people talking about him, and I'm curious about what happened.
Sadly, he was murdered.
I hope the police catch whoever did it so that his family could be at peace.
Baby, it was a police officer that killed him.
Wait, I don't understand. I thought police were here to protect us.
Most of them do a good job at protecting us, but the system needs to be changed.
What do you mean?
Well, you're gonna grow up to be a beautiful, loving black man. And while some will love you, there are others that will see you as a threat. They will see the color of your skin, and they think they know who and how you are. They will treat you poorly because that's what they were taught to do. They will call you out your name and try to anger you so that they find cause against you. They will put you in a cage or kill you because they fear your power. They will keep you from protecting me so that I may be your enemy also. These behaviors, my beloved son, are the remnants of pure evil in action. From this day forward, you must learn to see it, call it out, dismantle it. This thing that you're fighting against is called the Maafa.
Maafa? What's the Maafa?
The heat of the climate added to the number in the ship. We scarcely had room to turn. We almost suffocated. The streaks of the women and the groans of the dying rendered the scene a horror almost unbearable. Captives, chained hand to hand and foot to foot, were held below the deck. Men, women, children. Sometimes we waited in the same dungeon for a week, 2 weeks, or even more than a month for our ship to rise. For some of us, the journey lasted more than 90 days. We only saw daylight when taken on deck and forced by the lash to death. Then back to the filthy hole with smallpox and Dysentery ran rampant. Blood, mucus, season was everywhere. Angry devils on slaughterhouse. Suicide and outright murder.
That's right. Let's go. Come on. Pardon me, sir. Let me clear the path for you.
Move to the side! Let's go! Clear the path! Come on! Come on! Keep your eyes down to the ground! Move! Move! Let these fine people by.
Overseer. Overseer, that nigga looked at me and I want you to do something immediately.
This one right here.
Nigga, you look at that woman? Did you look at her? Answer me! Let's go, come on! Get over there, come on! Today is the day to pick that nigga. Step right up and get what you need. Men, women, boys, and girls, step right up. Let's make a deal on these niggas today. Pick a nigga. How much does one life cost? Nothing if the person is free. But if they not, then they a slave and can be purchased for a fee. Ships with bodies stacked like bricks headed for a country we would build. Blacks, both farmer and the crop slaves to the land we tilled. Pick a nigga! Left to live in poverty despite the wealth we'd yield for white human traffickers who kept us in the field. Cows, chickens, beasts, birds, we can see eye to eye, for we were both bred for consumption and our offspring born to die. Pick a nigga! Our babies sold like chickens, eggs, men slaughtered like an ox. Black women raped and forced to breed. Families were seen as livestock. Hear the whips whistle through the air as they crescendo on our backs. Slaves rising at the crack of dawn, and every dawn it cracks. Right, Bryce, your nigga. How much does one black life cost? Let's do a quick price check, then add the tax and hidden fees of remorse and regret. When what goes around comes around, and karma comes to collect, only to find the slave owners dead and gone with the descendants holding the debt. Pick a nigga!
Right up here. Line up. Sis here.
Yes, sir.
Come on over here and tend to this new shipment. You get them squared away, and make sure they get to following the rules right away.
Yes.
If they fall out of line, it's your hide, then theirs.
Yes,
You clear?
Yes, sir. I won't let you down. All right. Now, y'all got to get to learning about things here right quick. So pay close attention. See, Massa, he be rich white. And poor whites ain't allowed to sit at his table. He says they lower than dirt, and he won't have nothing to do with it. But for niggas, there be plenty classes. You got your butlers, your maids, your cooks, your carriage drivers, your carpenters, and your stablemen. Now, the lowest class is the field niggas. And most of y'all will get to work there and move on up like me. If you does a good job and you do's what Massa say. Just look at me. I has everything I want. Such your freedom. Freedom? What freedom? Ain't no freedom here for you. You best get that through your skull right now. White folks being fell flat on their face without us doing all the work. So your freedom is right here. And you, Master gonna need you to get to breeding some young bucks right soon. So you're going over there and you see Miss Mima. She'll get you nice and ready.
I had to breed. There's nothing to it. You just lay there till it's over. Don't catch no feelings, because they ain't gonna do you no good. I used to do all the work for the missus. Missus was mean. And she didn't take to feeding her own baby. So I had to feed the missus' baby. Missus says she don't want her baby feeding after no black nigger baby's mouth. So they takes my baby away. And I cried so. They sell her. They say so I can't see her and lose my milk and be upset. That's what they say. I wanted to kill this baby. But I can't. 'Cause she's so sweet. She's so small. The next baby I bore, the missus gonna have one again too. And she gonna do the same thing to my baby girl, but I damn don't care if she kill me. 'Cause I wasn't gonna feed nobody's baby but my baby. But she didn't kill me. She told them to cut my milk titties off. And they got some of it off till Master stopped them. He said, cut my money away? But they took her and sold her anyway. Said to teach me a lesson. So I had 2 children and 2 titties. So I lost 2 children and 1 titty. Now I have 1 titty to feed with and nothing to feed.
And hold on we did, until we couldn't hold on anymore. As years passed, it became clear that the plight of our freedom would need to be on us, because no one would willingly set us free.
To them, we are non-human beasts of the land, brought and sold to advance their lives. Our value was rooted in how much wealth we can generate, not for ourselves, but for those who stole our land, our language, and our culture.
So the words of those who spoke rebellion began to resound louder and clearer. Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, and Brother Nat Turner, who would tell us what he heard.
I heard a loud noise in the heavens. And the Spirit instantly appeared to me and said, the serpent is loosened. And Christ has laid down the yoke he has borne for the sins of men. And that I should take it on and fight the serpent. For the time is fast approaching when the first should be last and the last should be first. And on the appearance of the signs, that it would be made known to me when I should commence the great work. And on the appearance of the signs, that I should arise and prepare myself and slay my enemies with their own weapons.
Never forget something like that. Just like Turner, that Mr. Brown was a good man. And he was gonna lead us to our freedom. There's always those niggas who are more loyal to their masters than their own kind. I was about 9 years old when they come. It was warm. We were all settled in for the night. Slowly, we heard the voices in the distance. Each second that went by, they got louder and louder, till it felt like they was right on top of us. Mama jumped out of bed and told us to get down and hide. I mean, we hid as best we could, but the voices were so loud. Kept getting closer. And I started to cry. I tried to keep them quiet, but it was really scary. And they came through the night like wolves looking for prey. And they wouldn't stop until they ate their fill. Just then, someone crashed through the door and was yelling at Mama, asking her where was Brown. She told him she didn't know. And they slammed her up against the wall and said she was lying. We cried, and they told us that if we weren't quiet, that they would kill her. We tried to hold back the tears, but we were so scared. Mama told us that it would be all right, and look away and cover our ears, but we could hear her screaming, and we didn't know what to do. We cried for our daddy's help, but they took him away a long time ago. And you heard someone in the distance screaming, "We found him. We got the nigger." They ran off shooting and screaming, "There's gonna be a lynching tonight." Mama came out, held on to us so tight that we could barely breathe, but we were so happy to hold her that it didn't matter. We barely slept that night. We woke up the next morning to a strange hush over the entire plantation. You could still smell the scent of charred flesh in the air as the wind gently blew across the meadow. We got on the road, followed the cries until we came across the field where they had hung Brown's body. I hid behind Mama as we walked over to his body, and she said, "This is what they do to your daddy. Don't you ever forget him or Mr. Brown."
William, are you done preparing your presentation? Surely, this is a most gracious opportunity that we must not take lightly. Your words must convince that your methods are by far the best to secure a prosperous future.
Dear wife, I assure you that all is well. Please, sit and listen. Gentlemen, I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. Now, I'm here today to help you solve some of your problems with your slaves. I caught a whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree. And I can assure you that you are losing valuable stock with those hangings. Now, in my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. You will use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. Now, if we are to sustain our very basic economy, we must break and tie both the nigger and the horse. That is, break them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break their will to resist.
Dear, you must really emphasize the word break. It will give your presentation most valuable lift.
In other words, break their will to resist.
Yes, that is so much better.
Now, there is an art to long-range economic planning. You must always keep your eyes and your thoughts on the nigger female and her offspring. Out of fear for her young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak, independent, but physically strong. Because she herself is psychologically independent. She will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent. What do we have? You've got the nigger woman out front, and the male nigger in the back behind, tired and scared. Now this is the perfect solution for sound sleep and good economics. And the black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry it on. In the process, will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Mr. William Lynch, you have outdone yourself. Sheer brilliance at its best. Investors will line up to have your methods taught at establishments everywhere.
With this method, we will not only secure the future of our children, but for all our generations.
I've watched you on your pedestal that's fragile to fall. Tried to bury me in the dirt, but I'm the root of it all. The more you try to push me down, the stronger I grow. And sooner or later, you're gonna have to reap what you sow. Your mentality, barbaric, heinous, and unevolved. It's time to tell your crimes over centuries unsolved. Your role in this atrocity, shadowed and understated. To watch as lineages are brought and desecrated. Your man is at my cabin for some uninvited loving, giving you reason to walk around holding up these grudges. He's falling in love with the darkest of juice while your water's running dry. That's why you holding the noose. But I'ma survive, cause I'm the cradle of life, and I'ma hold it down for my people despite describing the life while you stood there shady, nursed your babies, lived through Hades. You even got my man to start to hate me. So look at yourself, for nothing will be accomplished in the lynchings of my people. You're seen as the accomplice.
Stares into the mirror of my flesh and reflects melanin. Each day I awaken my black skin, I stand at the gate of this heaven. As the world watches in envy, for they know they are unable to carry this weight, to carry a world on their backs, to build cities from dust and blood and bone and rhythms. We made meals of scraps and ways out of no way, singing freedom songs in the ear of your Holocaust, setting cities on fire with cries, like Babylon burning in three-part harmony.
My African progeny of whip and chain, ship and slave, I say, from a space of grave dismay, that we are dazed and confused, astray and bruised. Here in America, there has been repeated attempts to knock us unconscious. We have been seeing stars for as long as we have been seeing stripes. We have been receiving scars for so long. Damn near every inch of our collective black body is covered in wounds. Severance of family, community, self-respect, and trust. Our many heads, our limbs, crippled and separated. To be remembered, to be membered again, reassembled as a breathing unit requires first to remember.
are saturated with the blood of ancestors long forgotten. It is through the agony of their despair that we exist. They knew not who we would be, would continue to fight on our behalf, giving birth to new warriors with every battle, living through hell so that we could prevail. To not acknowledge them would undermine the magnitude of their sacrifices. We must love them enough to heal ourselves and to finally lay waste to the vestiges of our Maafa. We must reconnect to a truth that precedes our captivity and move ourselves forward into a new reality. For the millions are screaming out, hoping that we would hear them. Therefore, dear, dear family, stand with us as we raise our voices to call their names.
Breonna Taylor.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Tamir Rice. Botham John.
Sandra Bland.
Yusef Hawkins. Elijah McClain.
Eric Gardner.
Mike Brown.
Akai Gurley.
And George Floyd.
And to pay homage to generations that span a millennium. Let us honor the lives, the spirits, and the legacies of our beloved ancestors, and remind one another that they did not die in vain. For their spirits cannot be at peace until we do so. And as we commit to this ritual, to put off falsehoods and to speak truthfully to one another, we remember that we are all members of one body, and that this body is on the verge to our reawakening.
I hear the sound of a mighty rushing wind, and it's closer now than it's ever I can almost hear the trumpet as Gabriel sounds the and at the midnight cry, we'll be going home. I look around me, I see prophecies fulfilled. Yeah, yeah. signs of the times, they're appearing everywhere. Hey, I can almost see the Father, and He said, "Son, go get my children, get my children." At the midnight night cry, the bride of Christ shall rise, and Jesus steps out on a cloud, call His children.
I understand now. I am clear. I know that we are the sun and the moon in the depth of the sea. Our hairstyles, locks and braids, are maps of mountaintops, and when I speak, I carve out new realities in distant places. We are all the children of God. Therefore, I am my ancestors, for I too am a spirit having a human experience. I can greet you with namaste, walaikum salam, akwaba, what up, and peace beloved, and all comes from the fullness of the love within my heart. My hand clap, my foot stomp, my big lips can create rhythms unto their own interpretations that intersect and run as far as my own imagination. And since I'm a mirror of the universe, I am endless, I am black, I am proud, I am warrior, I am because I am, and people fear my ability to recall the memories that unlock my true consciousness. But it is inevitable, for when I do, for when we all do, this time, this period, this era will be a memory for us all. And in that moment, life will begin anew, and we will all finally be able to breathe.
Where's our director? Come on down.
Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Come on down, producer. Come on, Marjorie, let's go. Come on. Take a bow, take a bow. Bring down the whole team. Come on, everybody. James, Adele, Yvonne, come on down. Our director of film, congratulations to our cast, to our company, to our crew. I hope you feel proud tonight. We're getting ready to go live and address the world in just a moment and just get some feedback. But before we do that, we should turn in and just celebrate ourselves tonight. Come on, you can do better than that. We're live right now. We're live right now. The world is watching. Again, the cast and company are here tonight in the sanctuary. We just got finished viewing for the first time Maafa the movie, and we are excited. I've got our director with us, Lakai Worrell. Could you introduce the brother standing to my left?
Woo! This is Brother Shu Hirayama. Yes, he is our director of photography, and he helped us brilliantly to bring this project to life. He is my new brother, and he is family. Word up. This brother's brilliant.
Welcome, welcome, Welcome. And again, to a phenomenal team. Marjorie, thank you for everything that you have done. James, thank you so much. Adele. And everybody loves Yvonne Hillman. Everybody loves Yvonne Hillman. We're gonna take an opportunity tonight to hear from our director, and I'm gonna ask the director, you're live with me on the red couch. We're gonna have a quick conversation tonight and share a little bit about the inspiration. First of all, welcome to the St. Paul Community Baptist Church, the church that's out of the box, but in the book, Growing in the Power of the Resurrected Christ. This is our 26th year of commemorating the Maafa, and for us, this is sacred memory and sacred work. And Lakai, you knew the challenge this year. We went back and forth on this. It's COVID-19. For 25 years, we did everything on this stage. For 25 years, we began with recitations, and then we moved on to adding choreography, and we went on to adding set design. And what my predecessor, the Reverend Dr. Johnny Ray Youngblood, the founder of Maafa, used to call a dinghy that we used to have up here in the back, a little boat, and we grew it and we grew it. And the last few years, your creation was to add a house so that we could bring Maafa home. But this year, I think we've done something else. With your visionary leadership and the inspiration that has been given, rather than just bringing Maafa home, we brought Maafa into the homes of everybody in the entire world.
Word, well said, word.
So people all over the world can now, in the privacy and in the comfort of their own home, go back over this story and share sacred memory and hopefully share the story with children so that our children have a sense of who we are and from where we've come from. We've been talking about I Am My Ancestors, and we've been using Kendrick Lamar, shout out to Kendrick Lamar tonight, Loyalty, Royalty Inside My DNA. And I think you have captured that by way of this film. And it's not a documentary, it's a straight up film. So I said all that to say, everybody just give a round of applause to our writer and director, Mr. Lakai Worrell. They always love you after, when you have 10-hour days. I'm not sure how much they love you for that. But talk to us. Now, you and I went back on this, and I think we began this conversation, I want to say in July. Or was it August?
I think it was July.
Like late July.
My wife knows best. July.
She said it's definitely July. We started this conversation in July, and we talked about, we had some footage, and we thought about the idea of kind of cut and paste and putting something together. It's COVID-19, and you said, Pastor, trust me. Trust me. Now, you have a right to say that. You have a right to say that because you've said that to me before. Every time you have brought about a new innovation, you always say the same thing. Pastor, trust me. And so your credibility is impeccable. So thanks be to God, we trusted you. So talk about the script, talk about how it came to formation. And as you know, we took a trip to Ghana and how that trip may have impacted the way you came up with this script.
Absolutely. So firstly, let me just say thank you, Pastor, for trusting me. It was not easy. I know it wasn't because we were all venturing into an area which we were extremely unfamiliar with. And thanks be to Sister Marjorie Clark, who came on board and really gave us was a guiding force for us. And again, my brother Shu, who was like right on board the whole way through, and just the love and the commitment of the team, Adele, Yvonne, James, who are rock solid, Greg, everybody, the cast. The one thing we'll always like to say is that this process, this project, Maafa never happens without the love and the commitment of the team. So I'm gracious and grateful for the trust and the commitment to us, for us all to make this project come to life. Pastor, when you contacted me and said we were going to do Maafa, I had already started to get it out of my head like we were not going to do Maafa. But when you approached us and said we should do this, and the original idea, yes, was to find footage, and Yvonne and I spoke, and the challenge was that we were trying to discover footage and all this kind of stuff, and just knowing that it wouldn't be to the quality of what we would all like to see. The idea to venture into this space was required me to trust, So what we had to do to bring this one to life was to, because the time was so short, I think we were going to shoot. We shot everything in 5 days. 5 days, 1 week.
Absolutely amazing.
Monday through Friday, Saturday actually. Well, Monday, we started on Monday. But nonetheless, in 5 days, we shot every scene, and it was a tremendous effort on everybody's part. We had an enormous amount of challenges that came our way, but everybody stood strong and rooted themselves into understanding that this was a greater project and process that we had to embark upon. The bulk of the work are scenes that we've done over the years. So most of us, we're familiar with what we have. So that was even to make it to become the body of the script. With that being the body of the script, then we had to figure out the other challenges was because we were not able to meet in the sanctuary. All of the limitations that we were confronted with forced us to really try to find a different approach. Mm-hmm. Not being able to be inside the space, the limited amount of people that could gather at any one given time, the need to protect ourselves with temperature, taking our temperature, and Yvonne did an amazing job at keeping us safe and making sure that we were all in alignment with the COVID-19 pandemic parameters. So big ups to our sister Yvonne Hillman for making sure we all did that. To put it all together, we really had to try to find a new way to envision it. So reimagining it yet again. So being able to see and find different locations was the first task. Where would we do the lynching tree? Where would we do Taken? Where would we do Mima and Willie Lynch? How would we present these well-known pieces that people have loved here on the stage? So it required us to not only start building the script, but also start to discover different locations. And Brooklyn, because it is so vast, has so many different sites that we were able to come across. So everything was shot in Brooklyn.
Everything was shot here in Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Word up, So it was just a wonderful experience as far as being able to discover places and being able to see them in a different way. So walking in the park and having to envision, okay, what can we do here? Saying, we need a warehouse to do particular scenes, to do Taken, to do, and working to be really creative with how to do Into the Ships. But again, still working to adhere to the COVID-19 parameters. So I am grateful for how everyone really jumped in. The cast was smaller, specifically smaller. We rehearsed in the parking lot of St. Paul's parking lot. Of course, maintaining social distancing. So the thing about it is that it just really forced us all to reimagine, continue to reimagine, and to see every obstacle, not as a challenge, but just as an opportunity to address our beloved ritual of Maafa in a new way. And with that, we all put our heads together and was able to come up with this.
If I'm not mistaken, your son was in this presentation.
Jahir, yes, he is.
Come on up, come on up, come on up.
Give me a pop. So this is my son, Jahir Worrell. He is 10 years old. Come sit here.
Give him the microphone. I want to ask him a question. How did you remember all those nines, man?
Really, I have to thank my dad for that because he made me memorize them 24/7.
Well, let me just say this, and I'm serious. That ending that you did. Let me tell you something. I know the Maafa. I know it. I've been around Maafa for 26 years, man. But when you did that ending, it came home to me in a way. I saw it in my office. They showed it to me before tonight, and tears welled up in my eye after you finished your piece. You made it live, man. Did you know that you're an actor? Did you know that before this?
A little bit.
Oh, okay. All right. Very modest, very modest, very modest. You did a phenomenal job. You did a phenomenal. Now, talk to me about your process. What did you go through? How did you do this?
Really, I really just had to do one scene, and then I stick it in my mind so then I can memorize it over and over again until I get it right. And then once we're doing it on camera, I just feel like nobody's watching and I just do it.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you a secret, but you can't tell nobody. That's what I do. That's what I do every Sunday morning. I act like nobody's in the building while I'm preaching. Actually, nobody really is in the building as I've been preaching, but you did a phenomenal job. And how old are you again?
10.
10 years old. Wow. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Let Dad hold that mic just for a minute. So, yeah, you can go now if you want to. All right. You worked hard enough. You worked hard enough. So I wanted to let you know that before we went live and before we showed the movie, Maafa the movie, I'd gotten reports that there were people on the other side of the globe up and waiting to see this. There were actually reports as far away as the Netherlands. From all over the world, people wanted to see this work of sacred memory. So I want to ask you this question, and we've got the cast here. Do you feel like this was still sacred, doing it as a movie? There was always a concern for us that we would lose the sacredness of what this really means to us. And we took a risk by sharing it with the world. In the process, did you still feel a sense that it was sacred, a closeness to our ancestors and our history?
I do. I believe that it is our responsibility to continually find ways to tell the story. So by using this medium, we were able to expand our reach of how many people we would be able to share our stories with. And I do wholeheartedly believe that we kept it sacred because, again, of our process as a ministry. Because anytime we would approach the work, we prayed in, we prayed out. We made sure we still did our rituals that would keep us connected to the sincerity of the work. And that's really important for all of us. So anything that anybody saw, people really were going there, which is something that the cast takes great responsibility with. And given the short amount of time that everybody had to not only just show them become present for themselves, but make sure that they did their own particular work, right? Everyone had to do their own individual work as far as the preparation, especially those who had lines, to really make sure that they were able to connect to the intimacy of the story and be honest with telling the story. And because of the fact that people maintained their honesty in telling the story, absolutely we kept it sacred and respected the memories of our ancestors.
Got 3 more questions for you. So we took a trip a little over a year ago to Ghana, and you had an opportunity to share and present, a little spontaneous, I'll admit, but an opportunity to present in a sacred setting there. And we've been talking about going back to the motherland and doing a version of Maafa there, and that's still something we're considering post-COVID-19. But you had an opportunity to view our history up close and in person. You were by the water. I remember you specifically by the water, and sometimes the water seemed angry. Sometimes the water would calm down, but I saw you communing. Can you talk about that experience, even Cape Coast Castle and all the experiences we had? How do you think that impacted you and informs your work?
The water is filled with voices. The water is filled with spirits and energy. First of all, it has energy of its own, and then it has the energy of our ancestors. In being able to connect and quiet oneself, you work to surrender yourself until the sound and the vibration of the water, even before touching it. Mm-hmm. If you can quiet yourself, and I remember standing on the coastline and listening to the water, and it sounded very angry at times. It almost reminded me of the millions of spirits that were working to get back onto the motherland, but somehow they could not. And it becomes important for us to pay attention to that, because we become responsible to help them get back to the motherland. So the water is a very healing entity, but it's filled with pain also, mm-hmm. because of all those who jumped overboard. So I find it calming to stand by the water. Even these days, when in preparation of Maafa, I'll wake up and tell my wife, babe, I have to go by the water. And in that space, I can hear what we're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And we have to work to continually stay committed to that space so that just continue to pay homage to those voices that haven't transitioned fully.
So they say that 8 to 12 million of us made it to these shores, but for every one of us made it, 5 were lost. In the journey, 20% of us who boarded those death ships never saw land again. So we know that the waters are filled with the bones, the remains of our ancestors. And so when we were there in the motherland, I concur with you. There's a certain sense of, I don't know, consciousness, connectivity. And that night where they brought us to Cape Coast Castle at night and let us walk back through the doors, right? They let us walk back through. They said, we don't do this. And all of the chiefs from all the surrounding villages came to meet us, and they said, welcome home. And they embraced us and poured libation, and then they let us walk through. This was at midnight. It was dark out there, and we walked through the doors, the door of no return, but we walked back through it, symbolizing our return. And that was a moving moment for me. And I was so grateful that you were able to make that journey. And I just want to say thank you to your family, for all the sacrifices that you've made to be a part of. See your face. Thanks to the family for, the sacrifices that you've made to be a part of this process. But I felt like, I don't know about you, but going through Cape Coast Castle, I saw some intersectionality in this warehouse. This warehouse, it looked very, very familiar to me. It looked very much like the castle we walked through. And I don't know how it was located or who found it or whatever, but what an amazing location. To find locations local to our own venue, absolutely phenomenal. I just can't help believe that God was on our side.
Yeah, for sure. So we were rehearsing. We had a Sunday where we went to several spaces, and we went over to what's the park? Fresh Creek Meadow Park, and we were trying to do. We did lynching tree. We were trying to figure out a couple of the pieces, and we were doing taken in that particular area. And I just kept staring at it, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to be on the edge of the water, and just the whole park. It just didn't make sense, and I was just like, we need a warehouse. We needed a warehouse. So at that moment, Deani and Naomi started looking online, right? Trying to find warehouses. But it was Hazel Revels. Where's Hazel? She's not here today? She's in the hospital praying for my sister, right? But she was the one who was like, I think I know somebody. Mm-hmm. So she called me over, she made the connection, and she connected us to the Beard Street warehouses. And Brother Ray Hall down there was able to accommodate us and help us to utilize and find a warehouse, because when I first walked in, it was just like, this is it. And it gave off that similar vibration of the dungeons back in Ghana.
Wow.
The windows, the dampness. I remember us walking through the dungeons in Ghana and seeing how small the windows were.
Right.
And how we could still taste the stench, right? Not just smell it, but we could taste it in the air. He showed us where the urination and the feces would run down the line all the way out to the sea, and how cramped it was, and how even for a short period of time we stood there and we started to get warm and just like, what is happening? We started to feel like everything was closing in on us. Mm. So in a representation of that space, in honor of those who died in those spaces, it's like we need that type of a location. Yeah. So thanks be to, again, my sister Hazel, who was able to connect us with that space.
I think that really made everything so authentic. And then, so this year our theme is simply this: I am my ancestors. And that came out of community, a discussion where some of our young adults were pointing out that there are T-shirts that say, I am not my ancestors. And the point being, what was done to our ancestors, this next generation is not willing to accept that. But we also had to reframe the story to say, look at what our ancestors endured, and we're still here, and we're the beneficiaries of their struggle. So we decided to put emphasis on that. I am my ancestors. And while we did not name this movie, and I thank y'all for just being true to who we are, saying Maafa, Healing Journey, and we just said Maafa, the movie, and it stuck, right? So that's the title of it. But I think what really resonated for me is I am my ancestors. And what you did this year, we didn't even discuss this, it just happened. We start with 2 rituals in this ministry for Maafa. The first ritual is the ritual of respect. Until there is respect for our seniors and our elders, our community is out of order. And that's the permission service. And then the next ritual is the ritual of hope, where we introduce new life into the village. And that's our baby dedication. And to have grandma and the 10-year-old grandson, to me, is really the 2 rituals working together to bring clarity, order, balance, and healing back into the community.
Absolutely. It's important that we remember the role of each of us at each stage of life. Yeah. And our grandparents, those who we know to become the leaders of our families. I remember a time growing up and sitting by the side of a grandparent grandmothers usually, because most of my grandfathers had passed before I can remember. So I remember the essence and the importance and the power of my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember listening to her sing Amen, and several other hymnal songs I'm not even going to attempt to sing.
You can dance, though.
I'll
give you that.
dance,
You can
I'll
dance.
dance. But I'm going to sing. My wife can sing. But nonetheless, I remember that impact that she would have. I remember the impact that I would feel and just in her presence. And I know that to be a really important aspect of all of our lives, so many people's lives, the grandmother, the grandfather, and that information that they would pass on. And they are a direct connection to a litany of historical stories.
Yes.
Because they have so many themselves that we don't even know. So in her specifically working to speak to her grandson, it becomes clear that is a process for us as a people that is extremely important.
Yes.
To have that passing on of information, because in that passing on of information, you pass on that level of responsibility. And we have less and less of that these days.
Yeah.
And our young people are missing out because there is a disconnect.
Yes.
Between yesterday and today. And to be able to say, I am my ancestors, the depth of that particular statement is rooted in the soils of Africa itself.
Yes.
When I say I am my ancestors, first of all, I find it really interesting, that statement, I am not my ancestors, because just like the word nigger, I feel like it becomes a disrespect to the work that has been done.
Yeah.
So to say I am my ancestors reconnects us automatically. Even if you don't know all of the stories, it reconnects you automatically to the work that was done to get us where we are today. And yes, we still have more work to do.
Right.
But we cannot discredit the ancestors and the elders that steadily have done work for us to have even just a little bit of peace of mind that we have today.
Lastly, just a little bit of, you don't want to give away, I know, all of your secrets, but I mean, the Black Lives Matter mural and that whole piece, I mean, the photography on that, the angles, and how you got our DP, is that the right director of photography? I'm trying to get the language right. Our DP, I don't know, how did y'all get those aerial shots?
So those are drone shots, So Brother Askia, where's Askia, was able to provide us with some serious drone shots. So shout out to Brother Askia. And, again, just working with Shu, and just people kept saying that our minds were interlocking because we would both step to the side and just, start to just think and speak and discover different ideas together. And Shu has a brilliant way of seeing things. Mm-hmm. So I would just share, Shu, I'm thinking this. And he'd be like, I got you, just wait a second. And he would just take the camera and just make magic happen, So it was a wonderful partnership, and I learned so much. I think we all learned so much in this process. One, to just respect the medium of film in a whole different way. And because we had such a short time, I can't emphasize enough how little time. I mean, she was working till last night to make sure that we got this on time. This morning, my man, not sleeping, he told me, Kai, I don't think I'm going to sleep for the next 3 days. And I was like, brother, you need to at least take a nap, But the amount of time we had, if we had more time, right? We know we could, like what we did in this 4 weeks or whatever time that we had to do this. If we had if we had, just give us a year to plan and really make it happen, Boy, we doing 12 years a slave, Maafa style. You know?
Well, I must warn you that in the permission service, we heard so many actual stories that need to be heard, and no one has ever heard them before until this year, that I think deserves to come either to the stage or to the screen so that our ancestors, first of all, our seniors, number one, who are telling these stories, first of all, I think they need to be heard, but also we need to honor our ancestors in more creative ways and get this message out to the world. I remember Dr. Iva Carruthers said this to me. You remember Mama Iva? She said to me, she said, Pastor, the world needs Maafa now more than ever before. And I remember, and some of you probably don't know this, but there were moments because of financial strain or because people thought that Maafa had run its course. And I was told by many leaders and people, why don't you just abandon it? Let it go. Don't do Maafa anymore. And I said, Maafa is not something that you do. It's something that's in your DNA. And so we have to tell our story. And now everybody's saying, I'm so glad y'all still do Maafa at St. Paul Community Baptist Church. And then I want to celebrate our members who are watching, who have trusted this process. Listen, we did not ask for a donation. We did not, we did not sell tickets. We did not sell any tickets, and I know people said, Pastor, how can you do that? I said, if people honor and value the work, they will give. And some folks decided that they would give to the ministry what they would give if they were buying a ticket. And it has allowed us to get to this point, and I'm hopeful that this presentation will go global. It will inspire other congregations. I want to just tell you one last thing. Because you have done such a phenomenal job of utilizing local sites here in Brooklyn. We've also done 2 presentations this week finding historical sites for our people and filming at those historical sites. So there are many stories that I think other congregations can tell, and I think a lot of folks are going to want to hear from you when it comes down to doing sacred ministry and memory in their context. So we are hopeful that this is not just a Brooklyn thing, but thanks be to God. Thank God for Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? All right, yeah, Brooklyn's there.
Tired, tired.
Brooklyn is tired right now. Brooklyn has worked hard. But we're hopeful that this happens throughout every single city in our country, that folks would rise up and have the courage, the prophetic courage to tell the story. Yes, there's a risk involved when you tell the story, but the truth is you can't move forward without taking the risk.
Absolutely. And I think even for us for this year, we still kept it very light, right? We kept it light, right? Because we wanted to make sure we did quality work. And the depth of the stories, I'm excited to explore those. And you're right, I do agree completely that it is our complete responsibility to continue to tell these stories. When people say, oh, you should get over it, right? There's no getting over it because it's still in our face, right? The construct of slavery, the institution itself is embedded so deeply within this society that we cannot forget it because they won't let us forget it.
Well, they still got their knee on our necks. And, no justice for Breonna Taylor. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
Here we are.
It's ridiculous.
We're still here. I just want to remind, first of all, thank you again to the cast, company, and crew who are here. For some of you, this is your first time in the sanctuary since March. And so thank you for being here, and it's a special occasion, and I thank the elders for allowing us to do this tonight. I want to point out that there's going to be a special evaluation. We'll start that process 9:30 via Zoom. It's called Breakfast and Bible. We're dedicating that time to talking about this process and Maafa. And so I want to invite all of you around the table. It's a table of fellowship. It's a table where we deepen our relationship with each other and our relationship with God. we close out Sunday morning. So we've decided to actually move the closeout. Again, COVID-19 has done this to us. We're going to close out at the 8 a.m. service. So we've got a special service lined up where we will bring all this to a close, and we will move forward with a sense of renewal and do the work. Don't forget, fill out your census. You have to the end of September to fill out your census. And I declare, after this presentation, everybody ought to go out and vote. Please get out and vote. And let's contact our neighbors and our friends, especially in swing states, to make sure that everybody votes, because truly I believe our lives depend upon it. So I want to thank you, Lakai Warrell, for a phenomenal job. Excellent work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Word.
And to all the folks who've been watching us on Facebook Live, thank you, thank you, thank you. We look forward to seeing you Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. And whatever you do, don't let anybody steal your joy.